之前其实就想要复耕了，水菌不通啊。现在行政院农委会、林务局、水保局、农改场、农粮署被他们关注，才知道农业的技术不简单，就是努力的去学习，把水梯田复育，维护大自然啊。
好啦，那我们就先做那个前锋，也希望更多的年轻人要回来，当然。
我是新北市人，现在大部分时间都在这个部落，就来帮忙嘛，也很喜欢这边，有山有海，乡下不是没有机会，而是机会要自己去创造。
我们会很想要去推广不要再撒农药这件事情。如果可以让我们的环境自然生长，然后平常就是看看草，可以让很多的物种回来，可以维护到我们的海洋、我们的生态。
原本的部落的生活模式就是跟离山离海建成很类似的，但是最理想呢，就是要有个产业出来啊！农业就是我们的产业啊，最终的目的就是吸引我们在外面的年轻人回到部落里面。我没有走，是因为我没有地方可以去了。没有了，还要拍吗？还在拍吗？
Xinshe Village in Fengbin Township, Hualien County, is set on the eastern slope of the coastal mountain range, overlooking the Pacific Ocean. A generally wet climate brings an average of 290 centimeters in rainfall to the area each year. The copious rains fall across the forests and collect in fast-flowing streams. Jalan, Puluga, and Dipit streams wind their way down the mountain, converging midstream at Fuxing Village, before flowing past Xinshe Village and emptying into the sea. These streams have long supported a richly diverse flora and fauna. In the late 1800s, indigenous Kavalan, driven from their ancestral home in Ilan, found much promise in this area and settled, making a new home in Xinshe Village. Later, indigenous Amis living on the western side of the mountain discovered the plentiful freshwater resources in the area and stayed, establishing Fuxing Village. These villages were largely self-contained and self-supported through foraging, farming, fishing, and hunting, until Highway 11 opened the door for the youth here to pursue jobs and lives beyond the Pacific coast. The threat of rock slides also led families to move away, further reducing the size of this once lively community. The residents who stayed behind, aging and alone, eventually let most of their fields go wild. Their wisdom, culture, and language were in danger of being forgotten to history. Village elders ached for their children to return. But what future would they have in a dying village?
你们知道通草吗？除了它可以做高级纸张以外啊，如果受伤了，就用它的那个毛来止血。这是阿公阿嬷他们的智慧啊，又可以卖，又可以吃。老人家的话都要去记。走。
Huifan Zhang, an indigenous Amis, married into Fuxing Village. She makes the 2-hour round-trip commute every day from her home in Hualien City to help look after Fuxing's aging residents, learn their wisdom, and safeguard the land. Huifan's husband, Guangsheng Lin, works at a Hualien City restaurant and helps out in the village when he can. For years, Huifan led a lonely crusade in remote Fuxing Village. It was only after Shuzhen Huang and Taipei-born Hana also found their calling in Fuxing that the village began to blossom and change for the better. However, Fuxing's plight still kept Huifan up at night. What could the village do to keep its children from leaving? Was it possible to make the village economically viable and protect the environment? The 8 Idiots, a group of young idealists from Xinshe Village, take an eco-friendly approach to farming astride the Pacific Ocean. They've reopened long fallow fields and eschew pesticides and fertilizers in order to safeguard the environment. Longtime village residents, however, looked upon the group as a bit daft. Yu Fei, Li Yun, and Onion came to the village as novice farmers, and only Ronghua had any farming experience. After 4 years of eco-friendly farming, the group were still seeing only meager harvests. It wasn't until Guoxiang Pan returned to the village from Taipei and joined the Idiots that the group got truly serious about developing their farming endeavor into a viable business.
在种田最希望的那个目的，会是希望就是让大家一起温饱，都能够开始重视我们的环境，因为环境真的很重要。
深入到社区跟部落，就会发现他们面临非常多的那个问题，也有很多愿景想法，希望知道可以怎么样来做。这个品牌就是一个崭新的开始。
The Satoyama initiative has been well received across Taiwan since its introduction in 2010. Satoyama looks to build economic, social, and ecological sustainability under the umbrella of self-sufficiency by harmonizing local agricultural production with effective protection of the land and sea. Bringing humans into synergistic coexistence with nature is an ideal that's currently being pursued in only a few remote and rural corners of the heavily industrialized nation of Taiwan. The two villages of Fuxing and Xinshe, sharing a common watershed, as well as forest, water, and sea resources, stand at the fore of Taiwan's Satoyama experiment. In late 2016, Hualien's Donghua University brought 21 public and private sector organizations together to create a broadly inclusive platform designed to help Fuxing and Xinshe under the principles of the Satoyama initiative. Rare in its interdisciplinary scope, for the villages, the platform brought previously unimagined levels of consideration, opportunity, and stress. Fuxing Village's 10 hectares of terraced fields had lain fallow for 20 years due to the village's aging population and broken irrigation network. Listening to the village's practical needs, public agencies in the platform funded and facilitated irrigation network repairs, giving the village economy and area wetlands renewed hope. Initially, the sudden and constant attention focused on her village shook Huifun's normally calm sense of confidence.
后来李光中老师跟我谈，好好的去利用，将来没有他们，我们也要自己把自己做好，我才把那个可怕的想法就突然不见了。阿公阿妈就说好，我们一起加油这样。
没有套上里山里海这个字眼的时候，其实我一直觉得我们以前就是这样子在做啊。小时候的生活就是没有什么农药，没有什么肥料的时候，打猎就有打猎的禁忌跟时间，去出海捕鱼也不会乱捕啊。那时候就觉得不需要有钱，可是东西就吃不完。但是像现在的话，可能整个海洋生态受到污染也会有影响。我们就这样想下去，那就发现那物种也变很少。我们每次都在吃海洋的东西，那可是我们都没有把土地弄好，打了很多农药。其实食物链这样下来的时候，受伤的还是我们自己啊。但是我知道，在比我们早之前，5号舅舅他其实已经有开始试着友善耕作这件事情。然后他是我们这里的最大地主，现在看到半岛的那个几乎都是他在代耕。那你知道，在做友善的时候，人力是一个很大的困扰。现在我们园区是2甲。然后我们就见这么多人要需要去进驻，那何况是他。
Under Satoyama, farming is responsible for much more than food production. It also facilitates biodiversity, maintains the ecosystem, and conserves and maintains human heritage. Village youth, already interested in environmental and cultural preservation and in developing economic opportunity, naturally found common cause. With repairs to the Fuxing irrigation network complete, it was time to reconnect pipes and do a trial rice planting. The green hands got some practice and took advantage of the elders' experience and wisdom. For the first time in 20 years, a Fuxing field is flourishing, brimming with rice.
他们回到那个以前的感觉出来了。
对，很快。
可以这样啊。
从我。
Through regular monthly, then seasonal meetings, platform members and the village discuss and exchange ideas on farming, conservation, and cooperation. All learn and advance together in the effort to create a renaissance that embraces the area's forests, streams, communities, fields, and sea. Xinshe Village's 8 idiots eschew the use of chemicals. They laboriously weed by hand and handpick snail pests from their paddies. Although weeds grow taller than their black soybean plants and snails devour a good portion of their rice crop, the 8 idiots persist given continued village support and commitment to ecological sustainability. As for product development and marketing, young villagers are testing a variety of promising possibilities.
目前是做黑毛豆，然后后面再看看是要做黑豆的加工品，就跟有机米一样。哎呀，反正就是先起头嘛，然后总要先打通路啊，让大家知道，其实在这个地方种的黑豆跟稻米其实是很棒的。
因为我们也快收割了嘛，就是田一直有动物出没的痕迹，所以我去甄选那个湿地艺术节，在梯田做一个水稻米的艺术装置，可以敲响，然后这个装置还可以顺便帮忙赶山猪，不是只是美而已这样。
The wetlands ecosystem here sets the stage for traditional culture and wisdom. Production, ecology, and life blossoms at the intersection of artistic and commercial creativity. The sweet fruits of cooperation perfectly encapsulates the village's spotlight story of success.
阿公阿嬷，谢谢你们这一次帮我很多，还提供我那个刚，哎呀，空，对呀，然后我到7月1号就来这里满1年了，还喜欢你们，爱你们哟，对呀。
Interpreting the relationship between humanity and the land through the lenses of traditional wisdom and art, and within the context of environmental sustainability, fosters public understanding of this relationship and of the true spirit of Satoyama. The unique way that Satoyama has been implemented at Xinshe has reinvigorated village traditions and brought clarity to the new synergistic relationship between villagers and the land. In August 2017, Xinshe villagers Yinhua and Guoxiang conducted a formal survey of area coral reefs with the Taiwan Environmental Information Association under a program facilitated by the Hualien District Agricultural Research and Extension Station and funded by the Hualien Forest District Office. This local initiative marked Taiwan's first investigation into the link between coral health and farming activities. It's hoped that continued data-gathering efforts will provide the solid scientific evidence necessary to encourage more farmers to adopt eco-friendly farming strategies in order to holistically protect the forests, rivers, land, and sea. Safeguarding the health of our land, using natural resources equitably, tapping traditional village wisdom, leveraging the potential of community cooperation, and stimulating the community economy. At the boundary between the mountains and open sea, the story of Fuxing and Xinshe's synergistic relationship with its surrounding forests and life-giving waters continues to unfold.